Hi, my name is Mark Polton. I'm a real estate investor in the greater Charlotte, North Carolina area. I'm what you would call a no frills, no thrills real estate investor. If you're looking for a guy who has a really cool sports car in the background, a well decorated studio office, and is trying to sell you a subscription for $19.95 a month to his monthly newsletter, I'm not that guy. Go check out another channel. So I'm on my way to work on one of our other homes that needs quite a bit of work. And I wanted to share my thoughts on a Graham Stevens video that I watched yesterday. If you don't know who Graham Stevens is, I'll link the video in the description below. But he's a young entrepreneur. He's a real estate agent and a real estate investor out of California, I believe. He's kind of a flashy guy. He's young, and he's probably going to do great things. I think he's on his way to at least financial freedom. But he talked about his $7,600 in passive income that he gets each month, and I don't consider that a lot. We have 12 properties. We just closed on our 12th property. We have 9 rented out, and we're over 10,000 in passive income. And I don't really consider that a lot of money because there's debt service that goes along with that, and lots of other factors, property taxes, and tons and tons and tons of other expenses that go along with this business. However, I kind of have to take exception with the way he was calculating them. So he apparently has 4 homes, I believe. Maybe it's 3 that he bought outright. He doesn't buy homes the way that I buy homes, but I'm not going to give him a hard time. He's buying homes in California, which he's braver than I am, and I think he gets 4,000 a month in cash flow from that. But he was adding in the equity that he gets when he's paying off mortgages or paying down debt, and he's including that as cash flow or passive income. I take that back, not cash flow, passive income. And I just don't see that as passive income. I just wrote a $36,000 check a couple of days ago to a private mortgage company because we're coming to the end of the terms of this particular mortgage. And I don't consider that $36,000 passive income. It's certainly not going to appear anywhere on a Schedule E on my tax returns as any kind of passive income. Not to mention, equity is not something that you can realize until one, you sell the property, or two, you got to refinance the property or cash out. So it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything to have, paying down equity other than, debt service where you're not going to have to pay that down in the future. You can turn that into, once you pay off a property, you can turn that payment. Now that turns into passive income. Actually, I take that back. It doesn't turn it into passive income. I mean, your passive income is what you charge in rent. And so I just have to disagree. He also had a couple other things where, he had some CD or some other investment that makes $100 a month in interest. I don't do anything like that, nor do I see that maybe at some point we'll have cash and we need to put it someplace, and I'll want it to make some kind of money, but for the most part, we don't plan on having CDs or any kind of brokerage accounts or anything like that. And he called it staggering, and maybe at his age, $4,000 a month in passive income is staggering. He's in his 20s. I'm sure at his age, that was probably more money than I was. I don't know how old he is, but in the 20s is when I started to make about $40 an hour, and that was a staggering amount of money to me. Uh, so I mean, 4,000 in passive income, where he's got a property manager managing his properties, is pretty easy money. And I'm not trying to give him a hard time. He saved up his money for 4 years from his real estate business, and he bought 3 properties outright. And at his age, that is a pretty staggering feat. I just don't think that $7,000 a month in passive income or $4,000 a month in cash flow is anything staggering. Uh, I'm 44. I'm going to be 45 next month. $25,000 is a month in cash flow or passive. Cash flow is a little bit different than passive income. Of passive income is pretty substantial, but to me, a staggering amount would be $100,000 a month. That's a pretty staggering amount. That's 1.2 million a year in passive income. Hopefully, you're going to cash flow at least 60% of that. That's a pretty staggering amount of passive income. You're going to have some tax challenges for that, but That's for a different video. So check it out. He's not a bad guy. I don't agree with the way that he. Let me rephrase that. His way of acquiring properties is very different than my way of acquiring properties. He's using a very traditional method. It's a slow method. It's a little more expensive method than I like to use. Especially when you're still building your portfolio in the beginning phases, you need a lot of those cheap properties that you can get and rent out for a lot that'll really start to cash flow so that you can service the debt on your bigger properties. Anyways, I may expand on this in the future at some point, but I hope you go out there and live the "you won't stop me" lifestyle. Because I can tell you this, you will not stop me. There's nothing that's going to stop me from reaching financial freedom. Lights at the end of the tunnel, and well, I wish you success.